Hey, I'm Alex Alvarez, and I'm Lenny Kravitz's guitar tech. I've been with him for roughly 16 years, and it's been pretty good. Been doing this for the longest time. Started about 25 years ago. Some of my first acts were Gilby Clarke with Kill for Thrills, and then did Izzy Stradlin's album for a little bit. After that, went working with Robin Ford and Larry Carlton for years. And that's actually where I first got introduced to D'Addario strings. After that, I did 3 years with Los Lobos, then again, another D'Addario user, and just continued it on and on. So when I ended up working with Lenny, I introduced him to the company, and from then on, we've been using the strings. They're really super consistent. They make a multitude of different types of strings, so everything that we do in the studio, we go from mandolin to cello to harps. They cover a ton of all, so it's kind of a one-stop shop for me. As you can see, we're about to do a show here over at the Hammerstein Ballroom, and getting ready to restring yet another guitar.
So you clip all the strings at once. Does that kind of force you to readjust the neck?
No, because again, I'm stringing so fast, it doesn't give it that much time. I've heard differences where people do it one by one, so they keep the tension even. But again, because I'm restringing everything so quickly, and second thing is I do clean the fretboard, so I'm trying to get all the sweat and muck off from the night before. So hence, it's a little easier to do that with everything off than trying to do it one string at a time. And this is super fine grade steel wool. It's not what you would find in a supermarket. I think it's 5 zeros. That's basically how we look at it. Because anything harsher would start gouging the wood itself. All you're trying to do is just take off the excess sweat and salt that stays on from the night before.
All right.
The ride, the rectum. You hit them like a good. Thank you. Roll up. Thank you.
So when you put them up at the tuner end on the headstock, do you have a particular way you have wrapping them on the tuning machines? Do you like one over, one under, or anything like that?
To be honest, for me, I tend to like them just totally under, except on some of his guitars, the headstock is a little thicker than others, so I don't have as much of a shaft where I can do that. So then I'll tend to go under once and then over the other, which locks it. But most tuners tend to be convex, so what happens, the string itself always wants to push to the middle center, be it if you go over or just totally under. So that tends to lock the string itself to itself without any issues. I try not to tie them for my purpose, just because if the string breaks, I need to get it off as quick as possible and get it restrung pretty quickly after that.
All right, I got to ask this question. How often do you have a string break?
Luckily, I haven't broken, knock on wood, any strings on this tour yet.
These are kicked in a bit, right? They're usually flush, but that's
Right now we're using XL 140s, which are 10-52. And the reason I use these on Lenny's guitars is because we're primarily a Gibson and Dorsey. And we use mostly Les Pauls and SGs and Flying Vs. And because they're a shorter scale than Strats, when we do go to Strats and Tellys, we want to keep the tension consistent. So that's why I'm using a heavier bottom on just the Les Pauls. As we do Strats and Tellys, we use XLs, 110s. And that's pretty much it. And then as far as acoustics, it's EXP 117s. And those are just a heavier gauge, and sometimes we tune down to D, other times it's just standard tuning, but because they're coated or so, again, they're long lasting, and they last me a good 4 shows before I have to change them for the way he plays, so there you go.
I think you like the song better. Slowly. That's guitar.
Okay, so basically Hugh was asking me about this guitar and why I string it the way I do. The reason I do this is the bridge itself gets to be lowered and be right against the body, so I'm actually getting a little bit more sustain out of the guitar itself and hearing more of the wood. And it was a trick that Gibson showed me, something that Dickie Betts used to do. And when they showed me it, I had seen it done before, but I was like, that's just a bunch of baloney when they told me about it. But I went and tried it, and there was actually an improvement in the bottom end. It became a little tighter, a little more girthier. So there is truth to the myth.
Do something slow from the sort of heat of the play. Don't please. Sorry. You know the word. Thank you. Alex, whenever you're ready, please.
Wow, you're hot.
Number 3, please.
We kind of carry everything that we use in the studio out on the road, so what you kind of see here is what we're kind of using when we're recording.
Hey, you're up again. We'll give you another shot. We should load the tracks too.
Actually, this particular guitar was his very first guitar. This is what he did the whole Let Love Rule album with.
I was going to say, that looks familiar.
Deluxe, and that's it.
Wow.
He didn't own any other guitars, so when I came on board, it was just like, we were trying to find a replacement for it, but still nothing sounds as good as it does. So when we do those old songs, we just kind of stick with, what he had.
And that's his first guitar?
That's his first guitar. That's the guitar. I mean, that is Let Love Rule right there. And if you have any questions about this V, actually, the way this one came about, it's a model that Gibson makes. It's called the Lenny Kravitz model. This particular model is actually the first prototype we got from them. And they modeled another V, which actually turned out to be a V that was made by this company Kids in Japan. And it was a gold sparkle originally, and we used it on the circus tour for so long, and he used to toss it at the end of the show from one side of the stage to another for me to catch. Well, sometimes he'd overshoot me because I'm not that tall, and the guitar broke so many times that I was constantly gluing it that it started getting just very ugly, so we decided to have it refinished in black sparkle. And right about that time, Gibson approached us to come up with a model for them, for Lenny, and we were just kind of using this guitar so much, we decided, hey, why not just take it off this? You do this enough, you end up getting calluses on your thumbs and fingers. So be aware, it's not something for the tame of heart.
So is that what the calluses are from?
All right.